really lucky. Ferdinand Wafula offered to make a second presentation this year, but from a very different situation. So thanks a lot to Ferdinand. Ferdinand works with BIOGI primarily in Vihiga and Kakamega counties in the west of Kenya, which are wetter, more densely populated. But recently, and he'll tell you more about that, but recently he started working in much drier part of Kenya, Makueni county. So the experiences here are coming from working with farmers there, who I believe have also visited the work that's going on in Vihiga with BIOGI. So Ferdinand, welcome again. Thanks so much. And yeah, we've got it recorded and we'll be putting it up online afterwards. So over to you and to chair and present, and then we'll open it up to a more general discussion.
And just to add over here, sorry, the session usually lasts about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and then there's a space for discussion and questions for anybody who has, them arising out of the session. And we generally stick to about an hour and a half. So that's how the length of the session will be. Over to you, Ferdinand. Thank you, John.
So thank you, John, for the introduction, and thank you, Minnie, for the organizing this session. I'm in a place called Kathonzweni in Makueni County, and I'm here with me some 3 farmers who will be making some introduction just after this. And if you hear some birds whistling, it's because we just outside there. We just set a computer outside, and I'm sure we're interacting with the nature here. And I will be inviting Daniel to make an introduction because we are in his home, and the other farmers will also make an introduction, but they also will make a presentation now. Just a situation on how they were, a water situation, a food situation, how they've been before our interaction. Then once they are done, I will do a presentation here on the work that they are doing related to agroecology and water, specifically water related activities. So karibu Daniel. Daniel will mix Kiswahili and some English, and he will express himself in the best way that he can. And I will try to translate, and we'll move that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Wafura. Welcome to this session. My name is Daniel Mulinge, Kathonzweni, subcounty, Makueni County. So this is my press. So welcome.
Thank you for this session. Thank you for this session. I am Benson Musau. I come from Makueni, Kathonzweni location, in a small village known as Yumbuni. I'm a farmer.
My name is Juliana Paul from Kathonzweni County, village in Yumbuni, county in Makueni. So I'm a farmer.
Yes, I want to thank God for being on this introduction. Before I met with Mr. Wafula, mine was just to live without knowing how the farming I can do with the little farm I have. Before I met with tu maji ikienda tu water clan inaenda kwa liver, lakini by this time now I have harvested it. I put it in my garden. I went all the way around, and now I can fry ama ninaifunia kuwa nina maji kwa shamba yangu, na nimeshika yote nikaiweka kwa shamba. Saa hii sina tabu ya mboka ama security food. I have it in my farm. Other farmers come and say what I'm doing, because when I met with Mr. Wafula, he taught us how to harvest the water, soils. Even in my garden now, it is green. There before it was not kabisa. Hata ukiwa unaingia uwezi kuona kitu unaweza kukula. But nowadays, for example, for today, it is a market day. You can see we have only one woman. The others have gone to sold in the market. So today is a market day. So the water we have harvested, surely we have so many benefits. We have the nursery, we sell the trees, we have the foods. We sell the nursery and we get money, we buy the foods. Even the food we can't buy because we have vegetation in our garden and we are doing well. So we thank the God for that. And we hope we are going to train others to join us to harvest the water as I have already done it. I put it in my garden. It went all the way through up to another dam, the smoke dam I dug. In Nairobi, I go to fetch there. I return it to home, then to the nursery. Yes.
Okay. I will be able to translate maybe because it's all in a presentation there, and he's just given a summary of that. So we'll also hear from Benson.
Thanks once again. Thanks once again. I am Benson. I want to thank God for this because before I met Mr. Ferdinand Wafula and before I was trained on how to harvest water, I was facing a lot of challenges because here in Makueni is a hot and a dry land. Now, not unless we harvest water, it is so hard for us to have good yields. So before I was trained on this, I was getting a very low yield. But immediately I was trained and put all that into practice, I can now say from 20% yield, I have hiked up to almost 65%. So I have dug some swells and all the water that I collect from the streams running across my shamba, I have put in my shamba now. And I can harvest a lot. I have said more than 40%. I have gained more than 40%. And before then, we were going a long distance to go and look for some water. But when I started harvesting water, now the water table has raised in my small plot. And there, at the bottom of my shamba, I have started digging a small earth dam because that place now seems to be a bit swampy. So I went there and I started. Then I thought it is good to dig an earth dam there to serve me as a small scale income generating activity. Because when I get the water, I will use it to plant some trees, to plant some seedlings, to plant some green vegetables, so that I can actually eradicate wasting a lot of money in the market buying green or vegetables. So I am happy, and today I was thinking, when I was told that we are going to be in this session, I was thinking this is my second birthday because I am birthed again as far as agriculture is concerned. So I humbly say thank you for this, and those who have facilitated all this, I thank you greatly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're also going to have a voice from Juliana.
I'll say thank you for this cooperation we have with Mr. Wafula from last year, 2021. We have met with Mr. Wafula, akatufunza mambo mengi Sana sana tulisoma juu ya kupanda mbegu bila kutumia madawa, kunyunyishia mimea yetu vizuri, na venye tulisoma tunaifanya practice kwa shamba letu na mimea yetu inakuwa vizuri. Hata hii mvua ikinyesha tulikuwa tunajitayarisha vizuri, tulikuwa tunaunda zile boards za kuweka huko kwa mashamba yetu, tukafanya terracing na tukangojea mvua vizuri. Penye tulisoma na Mr. Wafula, mimi naona inakuwa vizuri kwangu, because as we had not learned about the farming of this
So she means the new way of doing things.
Now we have seen a bigger change, because tunaonelea mashamba yetu yanakuwa vizuri na inaendelea vizuri. Kwa hivyo na tunga shukrani kwa Mr. Wafula penye anaendelea na kutusomesha, twashukuru sana. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you. I just want, before I do the sharing of the presentation, to say that my coming to Makueni was out of a friendship that we had, and because of the collaboration that I had with the Slow Food, who had sent me here some 10 years ago, just to do some follow-up, and because they had a project called 1,000 Gardens in Africa, and they wanted somebody to support farmers on getting more skills in growing food without using chemicals. So I came here and I interacted with the farmers. I made friendship, and I said, I think I will come back again. And it was until 2021 when we were having some agroecology learning from India. Specifically, we had some session with the Andhra Pradesh community managed natural farming, and we had Professor Walter Jenny talking about water and how harvesting just from moisture, and how coating seeds can be able to harvest water and germinate. So as I was doing that with farmers in Vihiga and Kakamega, I just had this thought, I could try it with the farmers in a drier place, because at that time we already had planted, so, and the seasons are different here. So I made a call and asked them whether they were willing to get any training, and then through the Healthy Soil, Healthy Food initiative of AFSA, they accepted to offer that support, and I came. I offered a 1-week training on biofertilizers and harvesting water and making of swales. Then it was a very dry period during that training. They asked me, now what you are training me, what you are training us, can we see it? Is there any example? Then I said, yes, it's possible that you can visit biogardening. So they made a visit. We organized last year in 2021. Yeah, they made a visit, a look and learn visit. And I think some of the farmers that we work with, like Julius, made a lot of impact on how they are thinking about water. And when they came back, they embarked on what they had seen. And today, we are sharing reflections from that look and learn and their own innovations, because they are also now modeling their farms so that they can be able to teach others. So without much ado, I just would wish to do the screen sharing of the work that is happening around here as related to the water, and just attesting to what they also are saying here. I've been here for the last 4 days just to take pictures and again to continue learning, because I've felt like also a student, because I'm learning a lot about their climate and about the environment and their social life. So if you'll allow me, I will be able to do the screen sharing. I hope it's visible.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So this short presentation has just how the water prospects are and the systems around Makueni here, how it works, and what results they are seeing in their farms, and then also what other improvements they can make, because they are not yet, according to what they share with me, they are not yet there. They are feeling that from the lessons and from the observations they've made, they can still make further improvement. So this on my right, this is actually the catchment for Daniel, and he has started constructing the swells from just above the road. And the climatic situation here is that it's a dry place, and the altitude is 947 meters height above sea level. July is usually the coldest month. The warmest month is October, and then wettest is November. So they already have had some rains in the past few weeks, and they're still expecting more. And sometimes it just rains maybe 2-3 times, and that is it. And they have an average of actually the driest rain is month is about 2.45 millimeters. But then there is still some moisture, and some of the trainings that Walter Ginny was talking about, the farmers here actually are sharing that without even us having discussed about that, about how they were planting, and the little moisture could be able to germinate their seeds, especially with the local indigenous seeds here, especially for the maize. They call it kinyanye. So when I was coming on the way, it's common to see this kind of water interventions, but a close look at the windmill here, it was not working. And there are so many other water innovations. So this I just came across along the road as I was traveling, and I thought it was something very good to share, because many organizations have had different interventions, some that are working, and others that also pose a lot of challenge in terms of maintenance. So I was here in January this year, and it was quite humid and dry. But some of the technologies that Daniel had, this is actually his farm on the left. Others had crop failure, but he had some crop. He harvested some crop. And these here are actually swells, but you can't, this one here, but you can't see them. But here, this is now a picture that was taken some 3 days ago, where some of the swells now on the berm, there are some grasses now growing, and they do a lot of grasses here, the indigenous grasses, just the native grasses here. And something that I also learned just while we were interacting with the farmers is that they also plant sorghum and millet, and it's not eaten by birds. because the birds eat the very first seeds of the grasses. So there's no competition when their crop matures. And I thought this was a wonderful integration of nature and how ecology, actually conservation ecology, actually works to the advantage of managed ecology. Then Daniel's catchment starts from outside the road, where it's at a higher elevation, where he has established the inlet. And this one here, what he's pointing here, is actually the inlet. A lot of the water is actually running from the roads and cutting lots of gullies. But then this is just one way that they are using here to harvest the water. And then inside his property, this is now the inlet. From outside the road and the inlet, he has placed some trash, just some twigs, so that they can filter the water. It doesn't get in with the sand. And then after the twigs, here he's got some grass. See, these grasses, they're just the native grass to sieve the water, so that as the water percolates and gets into the swell, it's clean, doesn't have a lot of debris. Then these are the swells, and he's got swells that are about 50 meters, and in some point about 70 meters long. And by the time I took these pictures, it had rained about 3 days before I took this picture, and some of the water had actually sunk in here. And this sinking for the farmers makes a lot of sense, because they also grow mangoes, and it's a mango season actually. In about 2-3 weeks time, I think there will be a lot of harvesting. So during Christmas here, actually they celebrate mango season. It's a boom for mangoes, and all traders come around to buy the mangoes. So the swells, I think they can, this is another swell, they can still be visible that there was some water just some 3 days ago that is being sunk. And then on one end of the swell, he's got a spillway, and this spillway gets into another bed where he's got different variety of vegetables and mixed cowpeas and some local maize and beans. And here cowpeas is really treasured, so because it's drought tolerant, and they do not use the leaves, but they use the seed. In Western Kenya, we use the leaves as vegetables, but here they use the seeds. So here cowpea during the dry season, during the wet season, is a must-have, and pigeon pea. So even if the maize fails, then cowpea. So the sinking is very important for this crop. So he has a spillway at the end of one of the swells that gets into the crops. Then in all these are different, because he mentioned when he was making an introduction about 5 different swells. On each of these swells, he has different type of crops that are integrated. So he's got some sweet potato, some pumpkin, and also fodder, especially at the very end of the property. He's got fodder. So some of the water from the very end swell actually gets into the fodder. But before that, he's just made some recent some recent collaboration with Juliana, because they are neighbors, that one of the spillways they've just repaired. This spillway here, on each side there is fodder, but then they have renewed this one here, and it is through this one here. Through this one here, this one feeds into this swell here, and then this swell here actually feeds into the water pan, the earth dam here. Locally, they call them silanga. Yeah. So this earth dam here is a shared resource. There are 9 households that actually draw water, that has moved almost, it's almost like 900 meters from the catchment, from the road. And the end place is actually the water pan. And these 9 households, actually the maintenance, there is no fee, but then they contribute labor just to clear the silt, to desilt, and then it's within the property of Daniel's family, and then he's offered it to share with the households there. And the utilization of the water here is that they have 3 nurseries. Each one tries to have a small tree nursery, and also some vegetable within the homestead. And also they have goats and cattle. So that water is reserved for goats and cattle. And after about 1 month without rain, that water becomes clean. So they also use it washing clothes. And they also say, like, it has rained this time, and the dam is full. So they anticipate this will take them till April. So even if it doesn't rain right now, until April is like, they know that their vegetables and their tree nurseries will survive, and they will be able to still have something to eat from their farms. If it rains more, then that time to go and fetch this water for the vegetables is reduced. So that is part of Benson's piece of farm. Daniel's piece of farm. And then at the household level, there's also Mama Rhoda, who's wished to be with us, but she was asking us why we chose to have this day when it's a market day, because she also sells some stuff at the market. And I observed that market days are very, very important for them. Unfortunately, I had to apologize, because it's not me who chose this date, but then she has all the containers at the household filled with water. And she also has some 3,000 liter tank, which is coming from the roof catchment. And she uses this for her home garden. So she's got some vegetables. I took several, separate video. Maybe I may be able to share that later. And she said, okay, she wishes as well, and even the visitors who are on the internet, she just wishes them well, so that when you are seeing the work they are doing, they appreciate the knowledge that they are gaining, and also the insights that they've had in their livelihoods. So then, this is Benson's farm, together with his wife, and Benson has decided now to be a full-time farmer, because he has discovered some, you're saying, gold in his field. Because for the last 2 years, he's now observed that part of his farm is waterlogged, and he can establish an earth dam. Otherwise, before that, he's been selling fodder. He's just been getting fodder and selling. So I got some of the dry fodder for the last season here, and that earns quite some good amounts of money when adding to other crops and other sources. It's a livelihood, and he's got children who are in the university, one, and others are still in primary and secondary. Yeah. So when he visited BIOGI, he had a lot of insight from Julius, because he said he doesn't see any water in his farm, and I didn't know that Julius had they had interacted with Julius for, I mean, very closely, and later we supported Benson to attend a permaculture design course. That is where he deepened his interests and understanding on a whole farm design and how to just integrate all these elements and also harvest water. And he did the permaculture design course this year in June. So that when we were moving around his farm, and he was showing me some bioindicators, like this millipede here, which is about the millipede here is about 8 inches long, and in Western, our longest ones are about 6 inches. So he was telling me here there are some that are even 1 foot. Then I was saying this is great. And then he also has observed that he's starting to see some mushrooms. And he learned that from Julius, that whenever you see mushrooms, you know that the fertility of your soil is improving. So he has started seeing that, and those are just some of the bio indicators that now are being seen in his farm. Then, as we were just moving around, we also just saw some other birds, and also cloudy, overcast, and there was a rainbow, and farmers were saying, okay, this is rain that it was supposed to be here, but it's now raining in a neighboring county, but maybe ours is supposed to be coming on Wednesday. Wednesday is, I think it's tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, so that's how they are also forecasting. And then here, this is his inlet, the same, just not on the same path, not on the same road, but just a path that is besides his property. And he has made these swells, and we were lucky that some of the swells, the lower side, the lower swells also still had some water. And he's been wondering how he can get this earth dam. And part of just the initiative that we took yesterday was actually to see whether we can be able to design and do something. So in part of the property, we did design to have this sea, so that this water here will be able to get into the earth dam here. And the earth dam, we've actually taken from this point here up to that point, about 15 meters, yeah, 15 meters. And it's going to be, the deeper part here is going to be 6 feet. And the other lower part here is going to be 3 feet. So we already got some volunteers, but with some little token, just to start off, to kick off the work. And yesterday they did just part 1 that we could manage, and we will still continue in the course of the rest of his time. So this is just how they were doing it. Part of that video. So that is the lower side that they started with, which is going to be about six feet. So they done the first three parts just to start off, and then on the lower side, we also going to have some grass just to strengthen the embankment on the lower side. So the work is supposed to be continuing, and we hope that as it rains, he can be able to harvest more water, and he can be able to also serve as an example. Others can be able to see how the earth dams are also integrated and how they are supporting the other elements within the farm. That is it.
Thank you very much.
Great, thanks so much, Ferdinand. So,
yeah, there we are.
Minnie, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thank you very much, and was looking after the screen sharing. So please, John.
No, I was just going to open it up. Yeah, thanks a lot, Ferdinand. Really interesting to see how things are getting going there. It's kind of the beginnings of hopefully what'll be something that spreads widely, and I'm sure it will. It's amazing what happened in quite a quick time. So we'll open it up now. There are a few comments in the chat, but any comments, questions you'd like to ask to Ferdinand, to the farmers that he's working in Makueni, Kenya, please go ahead now. I mean, you can either put your hand up or open your video, and we can, yeah, go ahead. Any thoughts, reflections, comments, questions?
I guess one of the reflections I have is seeing this work and how each farmer, neighboring farmer, slowly gets joined with a collaborative effort, and that's what actually, the whole catchment then begins to revive as this kind of work spreads, and you can see the greenery appearing more and more and more. And in the doing, as I saw especially when you did the sea, and how you're going to move that in more water more into the there is a learning that comes in the doing, which as farmers, when you share that doing, that learning with each other, then that the methods become even more effective in what they produce in the landscape in terms of holding water and the greenery and the agriculture that can happen on it. So it's not just it's how when farmers share their learnings and their work is really the final proof of what holding water in the landscape really enables. So thank you to all Ferdinand and all the farmers, Benson and others. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the names, but it's absolutely soul-filling work and fills the eyes with joy and beauty.
Also, I think from Benson, what he was sharing is that when he started putting the swells 2 years ago, he had not noticed that the lower side was getting waterlogged. So early this year and later now after the rains started, we were passing there and we were really seeing the place is waterlogged. And we said, could we try just dig and see what's down there? So there was a lot of clay after about 3 feet. And it is that clay that was now actually the table for that particular place. So that is where we are scooping the soil just to have that at them here. He was thinking about doing it maybe in 3 years to come, but then it's Daniel who pressed him that no, what will you be eating? That this is now gold. So he now has discovered that water can even just change his sources of livelihood, as he said earlier.
Wonderful, perfect. Actually, as you're mentioning that waterlogged section down below, I'm reminded of a farm nearby to us here in the UK. And when they started off the farming, there was one particular field which was always waterlogged. So, and slowly, they've been putting interventions to be able to unwaterlog that field and then be able to use it for farming. So when you have results, we'd love to share your results with the farm next door here. Thank you. There's a question in the chat from Susan, and she would like to ask whether you sampled, Ferdinand, whether you sampled several farmers or are you working with a community group? There's always thinking of making an impact to a community rather than few individuals. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, so the farmers are who got the trainings actually were 15. That is what we managed. But then we had the 3 of them here, and especially the 2 here now to do the mobilization and the continued training, because we have what we call farmer to farmer outreach and the training of trainers, so that I'm always not here, but the farmers can be able to do that outreach. And we have they've just learned, and I've also now had to have this intervention that they now developed their farms as models, so that others can be coming to learn from them and they can share, because they've been spending a lot of time going to other people's farms, training, teaching, but then for example, they share that during the rains, when it just starts raining, everybody wants to concentrate doing work on their farms. So it's not easy to get everybody together. So that when they concentrate the models in their farms, then it's possible to actually do the further training. But they can also add vile mna train wengine, ama ni wangapi wale wenye wanataka kuweza kupokea mafundisho, mnapata calls namna gani? Yeah.
Thank you. We have been training some other farmers since we received that training. We started implementing in our shambas. Then when we meet some groups of farmers, we introduced what we have and what we have seen and what we have done according to how we were trained. So when our teacher came back, he advised us, before we go and teach others, let us do something, because seeing talks more than speaking. So that is what we are putting more efforts to do, something that when we train people, we can take them to our shambas and show them the impact of what we have learned. But we are still working on that to put some skills to other farmers and neighbors.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, it's quite a lot of work, and people say that often, that doing the digging and putting in all that work to carry out the water harvesting is a lot. What I'd be interested to hear from one or two of the farmers. What motivated you? What was the thing that really motivated you to start doing that work and putting in these quite long swales? What triggered that enthusiasm and motivation to start doing that work? I don't know if you can translate, Ferdinand.
Kitu gani ilikufanya uweze kuona kwa nini uunde swales kubwa za kushika maji, na kwa nini mambo ya maji, yale ni sababu gani ilikuvutia ndio ukapata motisha ya kuweza kutengeneza, kwa sababu wengine wanasema hii kazi ni ngumu sana. So hiyo ndio swali.
Thank you once again. Before we do this, the rain comes strong and the water runs to the river, and the garden remain without water. So the time we fetch it and we put it on the garden, actually we worked hard so that the others to know that there is something in the soil and we can do more than you can do somewhere else. So we said, let we have this water, we put it in our gardens, we can see something. Even the time where I was talking, you can see the mangoes. They were so dry, they can't have any fruits. But now I do enjoy. Yes.
To add on what Daniel has said, before digging those terraces, we were receiving a lot of rainfall and the water was flowing and causing soil erosion. So in our part here in Makueni, sometimes we receive heavy rainfalls. And when the water ran across our shambas, everything is eroded away. So when we learned and went for benchmarking at BIOGI, we saw some farmers who enlightened us on how to conserve our soil. Then when we came back, especially Mr. John, when you are talking about large swells, it is because mostly we receive heavy rainfall, but within a short time. So when that rainwater is stored in that cells, it is spreads and sinks there, and it is more beneficial to us. Especially when I started these swells, it is when I told you after 1.5 years, I started seeing swampy area down my shamba. And according to one of my colleagues there at BIOGI told me, go and make some swells, as I saw from his shamba. Then at the down part, the water will pass through under the ground and you will harvest it at the down part of your shamba. And that is what I am seeing right now. And that's why yesterday we started that project. And I'm going to do it effortlessly to harvest that water to help me with my household and some other friends. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that.
Unataka kuongeza kwa nini wewe pia umelima mtaro mrefu?
Yeah.
Kwa nini, yani kitu gani imekumotivatisha kulima mtaro mrefu? Kwa sababu wengine wanaona ni kazi ngumu sana.
Thank you.
So there's a question from Joyce. Sorry, who was that?
No, the third farmer just wanted to respond.
I'm sorry, please.
Thank you. Nasema ile mtaro nilichimba mkubwa, hiyo ni ya kusimamisha maji, ndio nyasi zangu ziwe zinakaa evergreen. Hizo nyasi nafuna na siweka kwa ng'ombe, zinalisha ng'ombe, pia zinalisha mbuzi na hata zinalisha sungura nazo. Kwa hivyo hiyo mtaro ninaona ina manufaa mengi kwangu, kwa sababu ikisimamisha maji hapo patakuwa evergreen all the time.
So she's saying for her part, she has a very long swell because she values fodder and especially for her cattle, her goats, and that place will be evergreen. So, and because the rains just come very shortly, and so it's long because she values that, and that the animals also are a source of income for her.
Add on that, I also want to say, here in Makueni, we have short rains. When the rain comes, it takes some few days, then it breaks. So when we plant different types of lands, when the water is stored in the soil, even if the rain stops, some of the drought-resistant plants gives us yield. So we benefit from the water that sinks in the soil. Thank you.
Yeah, there's deep-rooted plants that can use that water that's gone deeper. Yeah, no. Thank you so much for those answers. Do you want to go ahead with the question in the chat, Minnie?
Yeah, no, maybe Joyce wants to ask a question. Would you like to, Joyce? Are you there? Well, I can read her question out. She says that she likes the way it all started from the exchange visit and now it's building up. Impressed by the gardens. Are you now encouraging farmers to eat the cowpea vegetables above the seeds because of their high nutrition, especially vitamin A and calcium?
Yes, actually, they are asking me to teach them how to cook them the way we cook in Western Kenya. And those are some of the lessons that we are planning for. And it's good that Mama Rhoda has just come and we were thinking about that lesson. Oh, okay. We were thinking about that before I get back to BIOGI, maybe just to have a lesson on how that is done. And it's good. I think we celebrate food. We celebrate indigenous food, and we want our food to be African as much as possible. And cowpea is one of them. In fact, she has already shared with me seeds. She's given me seeds to take to Western. Some very white seeds, different from the ones that we grow in Western. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So then from Usil, there's a couple of questions. He's just wondering what the main source of livelihood is in that area. And then apart from water harvesting on individual farms, are there any initiatives to work on larger community land, the sort of bigger water harvesting initiatives in the area?
What I've seen here, and they will be able to give maybe more details, is that they actually depend on goats for cash income. So they take goats to the market. There are those who also have grass. So they may not have livestock, but they just depend on fodder so that they sell to those who have fodder. And then water harvesting, a lot of the water harvesting is done on individual or family property. And there are lots of mangoes. So they also have mangoes for livelihoods. And others have chicken and just some small businesses that they do every market day. Like Mama Rhoda here, I think she's just on the way, I'm told. She actually makes ropes and sells at the market every Tuesday, but the rest of and Fridays. The rest of the days, she's also doing some gardening here. But they will also add mapato ya hapa sana sana watu wengi ni kitu gani kingine?
Actually, the property, the income we get it is from the garden. This is vegetation and maize. We sell to the others who they don't have. Not all they do the workers. Who works far away, they can't do anything in their farmers. So we sell to them. We sell the goat, the milk to the market. So the income comes from our gardens.
Yeah, and also the land sizes are not very small if you compare to Western Kenya, because here they would have like Daniel has 4 down like 3 acres, and the average land holding about 6, 7,
6.5.
Yes,
6.5.
Yeah.
Then there's also a question about the training, the farmer-to-farmer training. And presuming that it's done for free, will this be possible going into the future? Because maybe there's become a lot of demand on their time, because they're in a way becoming water harvesting experts. That's a question in the chat.
Unauliza hii mambo ya kufundisha wakulima kwa mkulima, pengine ni bure ama unapewa kitu ama inaendelea namna gani siku venye zitaendelea?
Thank you. Many times when we have been training some other farmers, we ask them to support us because, you know, when we have come from our families and we have gone to train some other farmers, we have left our families and they are expecting something in return. But when many of them, when we ask them to support us, there are some other organizations who have brought some other new traditions. When they train people, they give them money. So when we ask them to support us, they tell us they are expecting something from us, not only training, but money. So actually we are working under some hard conditions, but we are determined because whatever we have benefited from it and we are ready to keep on. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm reminded of a similar type of question that we faced with communities in India who are doing fantastic water harvesting work and sharing it locally and with farmers and wider community. And suddenly they become very popular, and then almost every day there is a person who wants to come and see the farm and be shown around and and learn the method. And you can do that once, you can do that twice, but as you very rightly said, you have your families, you have your farm, you have your work, and you can't do training and showing of farm for 365 days of the year, because then the next year there will be no farm left to show. You have to also do your work. So it's a fine balance between when you have training days and people are mindful of that, and then how you spread that, but also looking after yourself and your farms in the time available to you. And so when that question of charging comes, how do people make a living if their living is the very farm that they need to show, and how do they share it with the wider? So these are questions which swirl within every community, and the balance is struck locally and culturally.
Yeah, in fact, it reminds me when we were doing the training here, we first of all went to the office of the Ministry of Agriculture just to familiarize ourselves and what we intended to do. And in fact, they sent our staff who also came to participate in the training. And later, because he's just reporting to me that it's the same staff who are now calling him to go and do the training for other farmers. The staff is supposed to be training, but he calls him to go and do the training. So that's why we also now supporting them to concentrate now in modeling their farms, so that the other people who want to learn can also see, and then they can go and do it. And so that they try to balance, as you say, just to try to balance, to make sure that they go out and it's something worth their time. And especially after they already have done something at home, so that they don't go out more often and then there's nothing left for the family. Yeah, so that there's a balance. We've been talking about that because they've been sharing a lot the last 3 days, and we've been saying now we have to have the farms here, they have to model their farms. And in fact, Daniel has started a small shed. He wants now, when the farmers come, maybe the visitors come, that is the place maybe they can sit down and do the training.
Yeah, that takes us to that wonderful, that small shed, because one of the questions we've been exploring together as work in the water school is having water hubs, so that it's not places where people can drop in or come and learn about these local methods without taking the farmers away from their main line of work, which is farming. So how can we create hubs in the community for other community members to come and learn as well, and give of their knowledge. So how can that wisdom spread on the ground with physical? So a shed is a great idea, which feeds into that completely and meaningfully.
Yeah, but really important how that, to find that balance. And I think those sort of field days on your own farm can really, once it becomes a really good example, then quite a few people can benefit at one go. So those kind of things. If there aren't any other questions, there's something that's always kind of fascinated me as someone from outside of Kenya. I always remember Kenya was one of the kind of leading lights in terms of the government promoting water harvesting. This was in the 80s and 90s. Fanya Jews, Fanya Chinis, and all of that. Did that just all fall by the wayside because of kind of structural adjustment programs and then no more extension workers? I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to hear from Kenyans or Ferdinand or any Kenyans. What happened to all that work? That was just such a good example.
Yes, I think it had some policy support, and there was a department within the Ministry of Agriculture called Water and Soil Conservation, which was the initiative of the late President Moi, and he had a lot of passion for water conservation. In fact, it's within the eastern Kenya, the neighboring county, Machakos, where we had, he actually made it that there was a presidential commission for water and soil conservation. And it is actually in eastern Kenya that a lot of the soil conservation efforts were done. But then we are also interacting with government officers at the counties and even at the national level, that there's now generational change, even within the government. There is a generation change, and that culture of doing extension in terms of looking at water and conservation, crop husbandry, is no longer taking place. And just some 2 weeks ago, I was interacting with county extension workers from 3 counties. I was actually training them because I'd been invited by BioVision Trust, BioVision Trust, from Busia, from Kakamega, and from Bungoma. And they were saying, unless maybe other interventions come in to do the training, they're not receiving even the training and the programs the way they used to have the planning, even now with the devolved government. So there is kind of change of priority, or the focus is very different. And even the players who are now collaborating with the government, I think are out to do business, because we have now so many corporations who are now doing those partnerships. And it's around research, and it's around the corporations who are now doing things around the seed and the water efficiency things, the WEMA thing, and about the GMOs. So I think that change in terms of strategy has affected some of the interventions that were there previously. But I also don't know whether there is other Kenyan maybe among the participants who also has observed maybe similar kind of trends.
Okay, well, while they may be thinking about it, I think, Annie, you had your hand up. I see it's not up now, but Annie Chikanji?
Yes, I had my hand up, and listening to him now, I think he kind of explained it to me. Thank you very much, Benson and the team. It's a good work that you're doing there. Amazing, really. I like the community spirit, the 9 households there. But it's here, like I'm speaking from Zambia now. The idea of learning from a farmer and taking off their time because they have to show you around. For me, it's a joy to show others so that we are many. many of us doing that kind of work. Yes, the amount of time that we should be costing as well. But if all those 9 households, they can be taking people to come and see what they're doing. If we can now expand to many, many counties, that will be a plus for this type of work. Otherwise, people think, it's a donor-funded thing. But when they say an household, every day you go and dig, it doesn't become an issue of digging. Actually, it's a joy, it's good exercise, actually. And if young people can come and learn from a farmer, that would be great. I think let's expand more of these hubs. From my learning hub, it's a joy. People call me to say, come and teach us. I tell them, no, there's only one honey. So what you do is we've opened up for internship so that they come and learn and they go and implement on their farm. So that's what is happening here at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Annie. It's great to hear.
And water hubs are, they exist. They don't necessarily exist as the word water hub, but there are various forms of them already in existence within communities. And how do communities create focal points to learn from each other? And sometimes it happens very informally, and sometimes because the work has spread so much and there is so many people wanting to learn, you need a focal point. So this is an evolution of work that is already happening and ways to make that more available.
Yep. When I think of it, I think that looks like there are a few new people who haven't been on before. If you'd like to make sure you get the announcements of our monthly online sessions, please put your email address, your name and email in the chat, and then we'll make sure that you're part of the Google group, the announcements go out in many ways, but that's the one where it definitely goes. So if you'd like to make sure you hear that. And just to say that as this is obviously our last one for the year, and we're going to start again. We sort of realize that things get going a bit slower often at the beginning of the year. So we're going to have our first online session the first Tuesday of March next year. And we'll be letting you know in very good time what that'll be. And then it'll carry on being the first Tuesday of every month at the same time, 1200 East African time, 1100 Southern African, 900, a lot of West Africa GMT. So keep that in mind for next year. We hope to have lots more sessions like this every first Tuesday of the month. Any more?
That's the 5th of March is the first Tuesday.
5th of March will be the next one. That'll be the first. And then we'll have it hopefully for the next 10 months next year. And if you know of anyone who would like to present, or anyone you think should present, then please do get in touch with us, and we'll approach them and ask them to do so. So the more we can share, the better. Any more questions, comments before we close?
And I want to say the recording of today's session and the PowerPoint will be up online. So this is also if you want to go over the material that was covered today, and for anybody who might not have been able to make it, it will be there available for them to dip into and hear online at their time. And you can tell that, spread that out if you want. There is a question here. All right. No, it's not a question. Thank you, Lawrence, for putting your email in. Anybody else who wants to do that, please do.
Paraizo, please go ahead.
Paraizo, we can't hear you.
You're on mute, Paraizo. If you unmute and ask your question.
Oh, it's not a question. We are only sorry. We joined the Zoom late because our network was a problem here. So we are only sorry for that.
No problem. As Minnie says, it'll be available online. It'll be available online, and the website is on the emails that we send out, at the bottom of the emails that we send out. So you'll be able to see that. So if you'd like to, plus the previous sessions that have been held, they're available there.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Great. Anything? Yeah, Rob, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. We also joined late because of network problems. It's very interesting for us to see. Can you hear us?
Yes, very clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's interesting for us to see water harvesting down in the flats where water logging is the problem. I kept thinking about how do you actually drain your fields when you've got too much? It's okay to catch the water and soak it down, but when you've got too much water, what do you do with it?
Yeah, I don't know if you could mute Robin there. Yeah, great, thanks. I don't know, Ferdinand? Is Ferdinand still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so sorry, and the farmers. So can you say, what are you doing with that issue of too much water?
Yeah, I think what they're telling me here is that it's never too much here. It was just an indicator for the work that the harvesting that they were doing, and maybe that's just an indicator that is the place maybe you need to open up for maybe now to do the harvesting, maybe, and have an open space for other wildlife to come in, and before it drains, maybe to the lower side. It depends where this excess is existing, because there could be excess in terms of the place maybe historically being a swampy area. And we are seeing that more often in Kenya, where because of the drought situations and people tend to settle in areas that they didn't know used to be swampy places. So when you have excess rains like we've had in the recent few months, we've had the El Nino phenomenon, then you find that the water wants just to reclaim its old place and displace people who have settled there. So that may happen, and I think it brings a lot of problems, social problems, economic problems, because of land. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the impression I got is that it's a sort of temporary waterlogging.
Yeah.
At this stage. Yeah, and it's, I guess, as you get El Nino and all those, and it's something to really think about, because that excess rain could become hugely excess, which really gets one thinking. I mean, those spillways have to be thought about, all of that, because while you're getting the El Nino effect with lots of excess rain, we're having the opposite here in Southern Africa, of no rain at all. So it's both. But I remember, I think it was about 6 years ago, and of course, where some people live, we've had cyclones and those excesses. So it's wow, it's not an easy thing, catching and managing the water, especially the dealing with the extremes, for sure. That when you have too much.
Yeah. So again, reminder, if anybody wants to, if you're new and you want to be added to the group and hear about the future sessions of the Water School Online, do put your email in the chat and we'll get that. Philip, I wonder if you might want to put in the link for the channel where all these are going to go up, where the videos and the presentations are available, the website, for anybody who wants it.
Yeah, I can do that, and we're switching to a new website very shortly, so we'll send that around. Because I can send the the link to in the chat.
Yeah. Just a quick word on that is that we're wanting to make that really user-friendly so that wherever projects and farmers are presenting from, it'll actually be on the map. You can see where they are and you can click and see. So it'll make it much more user-friendly. That's the attempt. So you don't have to trawl through, but whichever country, region you're interested in, you'll find the presentations that have happened on this online school available to you on the map of Africa. So it's much easier to see what is happening where. And as more and more come, then, and it becomes a Pan-African initiative, then you'll see how the whole continent of Africa will become water rich, is already water rich, but become community water rich.
Great. Okay. Well, I think if there are no more comments, questions, I think we always say we'll have a maximum of 1.5 hours, but if it finishes a little earlier, that's fine. People have got lots of things to do. So I think just remains to really thank Ferdinand and the farmers you've brought and the community in Makueni where you're working with. So thank you so much for making the time, for coming and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure all the people, the 24 or so people here, plus, as Minnie said, others will also be accessing it online in due course. So thanks so much. I don't know if
and Philip's just put in the link, John.
Okay.
Thank you, Philip. That's the YouTube channel link. So you'll find all the recordings and all the PowerPoints there, not so much on the website, the old one, because that had run out of space, but this is a temporary one till we migrated to the new website. So you'll be able to see all the past sessions on the YouTube channel there. So do copy that down. It's been put in by Philip.
Yeah, so before you...
Great.
Yes, Ferdinand.
Go ahead, Ferdinand.
Yeah, before just signing off, we had Mama Rhoda, who's just from the market, and yeah, she just wants to appreciate also our being here, and I think she will make some closing remarks.
I thank you. I thank you, Rod, because you give us this opportunity to come here to read this. Mi nasema nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu tulikuja kusoma huku kwetu, na nasema karibu huku kwetu, na kile mimi nafanya, mimi nalima, napanda mboga, na napanda ile mboga inaitwa chicken, na inanipea manufaa mazuri kwa sababu napanda kila kitu. Napanda sukuma, napanda mchicha, napanda ile inaitwa spinach, na vitu mingi hapo ndani. Inapendeza sana, na nafurahia sana sababu ukiwa ukame, mimi naenda hapo nyuma alafu nakata mboga na kula, napikia watu wangu, na kwa hivyo hiyo kitu inanipendeza sana, na nafundisha wale wengine ili wanufaike kama mimi. Kwa hivyo nashukuru Bwana kwa hiyo nafasi, na natarajia kusoma nyingi, na karibu.
Asante. So she thanks God for the opportunity to learn and also to connect with others through this media. And she has a kitchen garden that she appreciates so much because it gives her a variety of vegetables and food. And she wishes to learn more and even train others, and that this cooperation continues, and that you are also welcome to come and see what they're doing. And she just thanks God for all the work. That is it.
And we saw a wonderful photograph of you, Ferdinand, showed us during the presentation with all the water that you were collecting. So you were very much part of the presentation, even though physically you were in the market. So thank you for the work you do.
Great. Okay, thanks very much, everybody. I think we'll call it a day there. And we'll see you next year, the next online session. And please do share with others, and let's keep the momentum up and keep building this sharing and learning online community where we can all learn from this great work going on the ground.
Yeah. So wish you a very wonderful close of the year, celebrations over the holiday season, and a very good start and a good year coming ahead. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.